Shöta Imanaga, or should we say Shöta Imanaga. He was excellent again for the Cubs, leading them to a victory over the Mets 1-0 last night at Citi Field. What a wacky play to end it. We're going to talk about that. Kyle Hendricks makes a rehab start today in Tennessee. We're going to talk about that and more on the Cubs baseball channel. Make sure to hit the bell, like, and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up as your way of saying go Cubs go, or fly the W after that win last night. And here is your invitation to our channel. What's up, everybody? Anthony Pasquale here for the Cubs baseball channel. Mick Gillespie traveling today for the Tennessee Smokies. He's going to get a little bit from Kyle Hendricks after his start this afternoon and hopefully get that up on the channel for you guys. So stay tuned for that. But we got to lead off the show with the best pitcher in baseball, Shöta Imanaga. He was excellent again last night against the New York Mets, leading the Cubs to a 1-0 victory. He has gone over 6 innings in 4 of his starts already, and he's got win number 5 in the books. He's been everything they could have asked for and more out of this contract, but even better last night. 7 innings, no runs, of course, only allowed 3 hits, struck out 7, reminiscent of his first start at opening day at Wrigley earlier this season. He's been unbelievable, sensational, astonishing. Every word that you can come up with to describe the way he has pitched is a correct explanation. He has been a godsend for this rotation, a godsend for Craig Counsel. You know, everybody always talks about the importance of a stopper, the importance of having a guy that every 5th day you can lean to and have confidence in, that this guy gives your team a good chance to win. He's that type of guy, and he is that good. I'm going to go through his line just to make sure we don't miss anything. Of course, got win number 5, 7 innings pitched, just allowed 3 hits, only 1 walk. So 4 base runners in 7 innings worth of work, and he had 7 strikeouts, lowering his season ERA to 0.78. That's best in the major leagues of qualified pitchers. He's been sensational, and I know he's probably the early favorite in the National League for Rookie of the Year. But I think if he keeps stacking starts like this, I think Cy Young is somewhere that you could mention his name in a conversation. There's been a lot of guys in the National League that have pitched well. Obviously, Justin Steele was in that discussion last season. Imanaga's been better than Steele was at this point last season. So if that's any indication of where he might be in terms of rankings and voting come the end of the season, keep an eye on Shöta Imanaga. But big picture stuff aside, just the day-to-day impact that Shöta makes on this rotation gives the bullpen a nice rest as the Cubs are still in the midst of 16 games in 16 days. Gives the Cubs a team that they're confident every time they hand him the ball, he's going to give you a chance to win, and he's done it every single time out so far this season. A perfect 5-0 on the year. Now, after Shöta pitched brilliantly, he was only at 86 pitches when the Cubs, 87 pitches when Craig Counsel decided to go to the bullpen for the 8th. They went to Mark Leiter Jr., then Yency Almonte, and Hector Neris closed it out. But I got to ask, did the bullpen bail Craig Counsel out? And I know he's been great. I know he's made a lot of wise lineup decisions, and I know he's got this reputation as a brilliant bullpen manager. But the fact of the matter is it as much of being a brilliant bullpen manager or the fact that he had Devin Williams and Josh Hader in Milwaukee for so long? I'm not trying to bash the guy, but I feel like Twitter would have swarmed David Ross for pulling Shöta Imanaga with just 86 pitches dealing. So why doesn't Craig Counsel get that same treatment, that same criticism when you bring in a guy like Mark Leiter Jr., who granted has been good, but struggled tonight? He gave up a hit, he gave up a walk, and busy on the bases, of course, leads to a chance to score runs. Then Yency Almonte comes in and gets 2 massive punch outs to do what I believe is bailing out Craig Counsel. I think if the Cubs give up that lead, everybody is on Twitter saying, how did Craig Counsel pull Shöta Imanaga? But Seriously, if you have a guy that's that good, that dialed in, and he's missing bats, the Mets have no answer for him, why would you go away from that and try something new and give them the chance to see something new and do damage with something new? Why not stick with what's working? And I'm not saying throw him to 100, 110, 120 pitches, but the way he was pitching so efficiently, I think he had another inning in him. But either way, the eighth inning goes smoothly. Sort of. After Leiter walks a batter and gives up a hit, he's pulled for Yency Almonte, who gets two crucial strikeouts. He looked phenomenal last night. And on to the ninth. The Cubs were not able to score any bonus runs. And then you get to the bottom of the ninth inning. Hector Neris comes on, and as has been the case with Hector, automatic two runners on base. That's just how it's been for him. I am baffled that he has not blown a save since getting this closer role, because he's allowing two runners on base every time he's out there. And that's a problem. He's walked more batters than he's struck out. He's walked more batters than he's pitched innings. That is a problem. That is not closer material. That's not even good reliever material. He needs to be more efficient near the strike zone. But all that aside, you've got second and third with one out. Infield in, infield back. Craig Counsel decides to keep the infield back, potentially concede the tying run, but make sure that go-ahead run on second base doesn't come around to score on a ball into the shallow outfield. Then what happens? A fly ball to left field. Ian Happ, reminiscent of his game-winning and game-tying outfield assists back in Milwaukee last season, grabs it near the foul line, gets it in really quickly. Nick Madrigal takes the relay throw, fires it to Miguel Amaya, who slaps down a tag on Pete Alonso, and the umpire goes, out! Just like that, the ball game's over, right? Not so fast. It was ruled a double play on the field. It was, of course, challenged by the Mets, and they're looking at two things. The first thing they're looking at, was it blocking the plate on Miguel Amaya's part? And the second thing they're looking at was Pete Alonso's hand in before the tag. Now, first of all, live, I thought Pete Alonso was safe for sure. Then you take a look at the replay, and as soon as he slides, we'll use the mic as the base. As soon as he gets close to the base, when his hand impacts the dirt, his hand goes up, so it misses home plate ever so slightly. And by the time he gets the hand back down, it's too hard to tell if that was before or after Miguel Amaya gets the tag down on his back. So because there's not conclusive evidence, the call on the field stands, it's an out, and the Cubs win. Now, they were showing Jeff McNeil on the broadcast, who hit the potential tying sacrifice fly. And the umpire comes out and says, there were two calls on the play. The first call, blocking the plate, was confirmed. He starts cheering, thinking that means they're calling blocking the plate. The umpire goes, was confirmed. There was no blocking. So already a gut punch to the Mets. Then a few seconds later, call on the field stands. The runner is out. Game over. Cubs win. Fly the W. What a crazy ending to a game that you just cannot afford to give away when you have such an excellent pitching performance from Shöta Imanaga. Now, I want to get into the offense for a little bit because, for lack of a better term, they've been awful. They've been really, really bad. And it hasn't mattered lately against lefties, against righties. The only thing that has been a saving grace for the Cubs is hitting at Wrigley Field. That seemed to be a benefit. But on these road trips, the Cubs have been really bad ever since their 7-1 win to open the road trip in Fenway last week, which was, of course, Shöta Imanaga's last start. They have been held to 0 runs, 1 run, 2 runs, and 4 runs twice. That's not a good enough output from your offense. And I understand everybody's going to say, Seiya Suzuki's hurt, Cody Bellinger's hurt. Yes. But the fact of the matter is you're paying Ian Happ and Dansby Swanson $47, $48 million a year. And since April 5th, they are 31 for 167, hitting well below 180. That's an issue. You're paying those guys a lot of money. They need to be hitting better. Michael Busch had 5 homers in 5 days. We thought he was the second coming of Anthony Rizzo, and he's been struggling since. Christopher Morel had a ton of power in the first 2 series of the year, 1 home run since. The Cubs offense is in a dry spell, and they desperately need their hitters back. Seiya Suzuki and Cody Bellinger makes this such a deeper lineup. The one run of the game was scored on a Pete Crow Armstrong sac fly. Nico Horner had 2 hits. Mike Talkman got on base a couple times. Those guys have been pretty good. Happ, Swanson, Morel, Bush, those guys are going through some struggles. So you would certainly love to see those guys hop out of their struggles soon. And speaking of a guy who's had some struggles, Kyle Hendricks, he's making a start in Tennessee today for Double-A. Mick is going to be there. He's going to hopefully get a chat with him, and hopefully you guys can see that on this channel later in the week. But he's making a rehab start. We got news earlier that Justin Steele's rehab start yesterday went very well. Gave up a few runs, but he had 4 punch outs, a lot of soft contact, and he exits the start healthy, which is about all you can ask for. But Hendricks going today for the Smokies. Can't wait to see what he has to say to our guy Mick, who is, of course, traveling today. Got up at 3 a.m., so, of course, couldn't be on the show. He's on the road, and you guys will hear from him tomorrow because you guys know what tomorrow is? It's a watch party. It's our 3rd watch party of the year. The Cubs are 2-0 when we've done these watch parties. The Cubs take on the Brewers at 1:20. Their first division matchup of the year. We're already into May. March and April, no NL Central. No Cardinals, no Reds, no Pirates, no Brewers. But we're going to get our first crack at the Brewers, who the Cubs and Brewers have been jockeying for 0.5 game leads in the NL Central. This could be a big series to make a statement, and hopefully the Cubs can do so. Tomorrow, we'll be right here for the watch party at 1:20. Make sure you guys tune in, ask questions, participate, and it's going to be a ton of fun. If you guys have any suggestions for what you want to see during the watch party, drop them in the comments below on this video, please. And if you have any questions you want us to answer during the watch party, throw those in the comments as well. But today, the Cubs take on the Mets at 12:10. Finally, a day game out in Citi Field, and it's an interesting pitching matchup. Ben Brown on the mound for the Cubs. He's been excellent in his starts so far this season. He's been banged up a little bit in Boston. He got hit around the diamond pretty well, but aside from that, his starts have been excellent. He had that one rough outing in Texas to open the season, but since then, he's been a guy auditioning for a starting rotation spot and, for the most part, nailing it. So I'm excited to see him go against the Mets today, against Adrian Hauser. I'm sure you guys remember him, a former Brewer. So keep an eye on the Cubs to attack him early and often like they did in Milwaukee. Patrick Wisdom, Ian Happ, and Christopher Morel all have really good career numbers against this guy. So keep an eye on them to maybe break out of some slumps and provide some offense for a Cubs team that desperately needs it. But guys, thank you so much for watching another episode on the Cubs Baseball channel. Make sure to hit the bell, like, subscribe, drop any questions that you have, share with your Cubs friends and your Cubs family, and of course, fly the W. Another win last night. Go Cubs.